This is 50.com. The Heineken is here, man. I'm ecstatic to have this dude on the couch. He got one of the lead actors on one of his upcoming projects, man. My boy, Mo.
What's good, Mo?
Director extraordinaire, man. You started a wave a handful of years ago, man. And I still remember that interview we did. And it went super viral for all the right and wrong reasons, which is great. Because I don't know if he know. Remember when I called you and I said, this website by the name of Shade Room wants to interview one of your family members?
Yeah.
And they only had 5,000 followers at that time.
Yeah.
Now it's like, we was like, what's a Shade Room?
Because y'all was one of the was one of the first major platforms that interviewed me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So and from there, like that thing just catapulted, man.
Yeah, and we're gonna go all over the place. Because you've been doing the media run, so let's go backwards and forwards though. Let's go forward.
Okay.
What projects are you working on right now that has you here on the couch?
All right, so let's just say, like you say, let's go last we left off with Money and Violence. In the last 3 years, I've been doing a lot of writing, but for television. Mm-hmm. I had helped. Forrest Whitaker has a new project coming out on the Epix channel called The Godfather of Harlem that he's starring in and he executive produced. I helped write the entire first season of that. I co-wrote the 8th episode, and I helped write that with Chris Brancato, who's the dude that created and wrote Narcos, Paul Eckstein, a lot of industry heavyweights, man. Also, I actually just came back from LA 2 weeks ago because I was helping write the 3rd season of American Gods on Stars. With that, I worked with Damian Kindler, who did Krypton, and Kenny.
Krypton, I watched that show.
Yeah.
That's strong. That's a lot of, everything you've named is strong content.
Yeah.
Very elaborate storylines, too. So you coming from a guy from Brooklyn who just picked up the camera, started figuring it out on your own, to what is the transition like being in the room with these writers who are developing at a different capacity?
I mean, I've learned a lot, man, to be honest with you. As a writer, like, my writing has elevated a lot just from being around these people, who have the experience, been in the game 40 years. I'm talking about, I've been writing with people who wrote as far back as Moonlighting and Hill Street Blues. You understand where I'm coming from? So you can't be around people who've been in the game writing for that long without having a lot of growth. But also what I've learned too, man, sitting in these writers' rooms is, because a lot of times I watch television and I'm like, I really don't understand it. Like, why is it that I never see, I'm not going to say the truth, but I never really see our essence on screen. And I've come to realize it's because, you have a bunch of people sitting in a room that aren't from our world. Mm-hmm. You get where I'm coming from? Mm-hmm. And they're writing what they perceive us as rather than what they know. It's just so crazy to me because if you're writing a show about a hospital, they'll get a doctor to be in the room to be a consultant. If you're writing a show about the judicial system, about court, you'll have a judge in the room or a lawyer that you can pretty much go to. Yeah. But if you write a show about the streets, you really don't have anyone from that element in the room to tell you what is and what's not. You just pretty much.
So where they getting their source material from? If you were to give an educated guess.
Listen, it all depends. If it's if it's inspired by truth, then of course, they have to do research on that story. But if it's just a story that's made up about the streets, you get where I'm coming from? It's just like on perception.
Somebody was mentioning that in regards to The Wire, right? One of the things that was hard to wrap around their heads was those drug dealers in bed with Congress and the politicians. Not to say it's impossible, but at that infrastructure, it was just, that was almost unbelievable, being around certain street dudes.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
But you know what I think? This is what I think Hollywood did. Hollywood took the structure of the mob and applied it to the streets.
Across the board.
All across the board. You understand? Like, let's be honest, drug dealers don't have drug dealer meetings. You
Of course
understand
not.
where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah, like let's be honest. That
Like,
shit does not happen.
Yeah,
You
I
get
was
where,
like,
yeah, you get where I'm coming from. Like, look, man, you don't go to buy drugs and there's no dude standing there with machine guns. That does not happen. But because that's the mob structure, they took that and they just put it all across the board. You get where I'm coming from, and that's why I feel like it's always my job, no matter what. Even with me getting these TV writing gigs, that's why I feel it's my duty to continue to make my own content. And the reason is because I want to continue to give the world the authenticity and the truth. I want the world to get to know us, man, because I think that's part of the reason why the world has us figured out all wrong, because a large part of America doesn't deal with us. And their perception of who we are comes from what they see on television, right?
So it's anger and
bravado. Yeah, because you got to think about it. People are like, yo, why is the street life glorified, right? And it's like, okay, the street life is glorified because if you go to
I think it's Americana. We've always glorified this.
But this is the thing. If you go to the game, right? You go see a football game, right? The perspective from the bleachers is totally different than the perspective on the field.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying? If you ask the dude in the bleachers how was the game, he may say, yo, it's the greatest game I ever seen, man. The receiver ran down the field, he jumped up in the air, caught the ball, he got hit by the receiver, flipped, landed on the floor. He was on the floor for 10 seconds, we thought he was hurt. Then he got up and everybody screamed.
Yeah.
But as the player that was on the field, he might tell you that was the worst game of his life. Yo, bro, I never got hit that hard, ever.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But from the bleachers, it looks like something glamorous.
Because think about it, from like the essence of the Wild Wild West to boom, how the slaves got their freedom, to the outlaws in the 20s, to how the mob came up in the 50s, the gangsters paid in full in the 80s, the Harlem drug dealers, to everything. We've always been romanticized and in bed with that, if you really think about it.
But now let me tell you what I learned about writing for television, right? First and foremost, the stories are never written by those that lived it. Second of all, you can bring the story to the writer's room and write the story, but then you have to send it to the network and it has to be approved by the executives.
Okay.
And 9 times out of 10, what they're gonna tell you is, yo, this isn't entertaining enough. We have to make it more entertaining. So let's add a couple of more killings. Let's add a couple of more guns. I get it. Yeah, he doesn't really want to sell drugs, but now that's not entertaining. That's not what the people want to see. So we got to tweak it.
So now that's been the formula. What are you doing now with this new project you're putting out to, deconstruct the formula?
I honestly believe that this project, The Spot, is, I'm not going to say the first time, but it's the closest to the real thing that the audience, that the viewing audience has seen or is going to see in a very long time. And I say that simply because this project isn't written with ego. It's not. The actors aren't acting with ego. Like, we understand the story. This is really just the story of it's 2 things. This is a dude who lost everything and is trying to make his way back to the top. But at the same time, it's also a dude who's in the middle of a transition. It's a dude who grew up in the hood and now he moved downtown Brooklyn. He's in the new gentrified Brooklyn. So it's dealing with gentrification. It's also
it's the white headphones.
Yeah, it's also dealing with his transition, right?
Whole Foods.
And when I say transition, it's because we have this dysfunction in the hood where we feel guilty for outgrowing people, like, which is nuts because he's surrounded by so many people from his past. And his girlfriend is telling him, like, yo, you've outgrown these people. You understand? Because they're holding you back. His peoples still want to get in the drama and get in the beef and this and that. And it's like, yo, you're way past that now. You understand? So this is a transition story, man. And it's not even just about, the hood, and it's not even just about the drugs or the work or what he's doing. It's about his transition within himself. And I did that because I felt that, especially in these days and times, this is something that this young audience needs to see, because everybody is chasing this look, this facade, because everybody wants to to basically look like something, but not even realizing what comes with that.
Right. And this is the angle you're going with. How are you going to distribute this so that people can digest the content, absorb it the right way?
Okay, now this is the thing, right? So I did Money and Violence for 2 seasons. First season was on YouTube, 23 episodes. Gave it out for absolutely free. Second season, we wanted to up the production, so I got the deal with Tidal, which everything I got from Tidal, I pretty much put back into production so I can give people a much better second season. Now, I have a huge demand for the next season of Money and Violence, right? Season 3, huge demand, huge anticipation.
Is that still coming up?
Waiting for it. It is going to come out, but we're working on getting that. Like I said, stepping up the production. I'm not about doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it's about bettering it. But now with this project will be out on YouTube. It's an 8-episode first season. The first 7 episodes will be absolutely free. But the 8th episode, which is the finale, we are charging $3.99 for it. And we're charging $3.99 because at the end of the day, this is a show that was produced out of our pockets. Yep. You understand where I'm coming from? And this is the nature of business, because
of course.
Because once the audience watches this first season, y'all are going to want a second season. And in order for that second season to be made, there has to be some type of money recouped, because there is no businessman who keeps creating a product that he can't make money off of.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. It's redundant after that. With your history of what you've produced and everything like that, is it tough thinking that you're going to get the people to receive it? Because, frankly, people have been waiting for season 3 of Money and Violence for quite some time. Like, actors have changed. People feel like this and that. I'm trying to figure out, like, with everything that's going on for you, how are you going to give the product that the people need? Because there's certain, emotional attachment. Like, let's just keep it real.
Let's just keep it real.
Not to be beating around the bush.
Yeah.
We know each other personally. So, and I know other people in the cast personally. So when I'm hearing shit, I'm just like, I don't know. I've never picked any side. Everybody, I got family members. We're all cool. Is there any way we can resolve this to where everybody comes back together? And the only reason I'm asking is emotional attachment.
Now, when you say resolve, you have to understand that at the end of the day, I'm never about moving on ego or pride, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe in cutting off my nose to spite my face. Now, what I mean by that is, I've never been about building myself up to lose the championship, right?
Of course.
So at the end of the day, we have actors on the show who have chosen to walk away, right? And to be honest with you, if I thought that I could not successfully make another season without them, then I would try to reconcile that. But you have to understand that having written the show, right, and having brought people on board that have never acted a day in their lives, right, and having directed and taught them how to play that character and having taken time to do so, right, it's not anything that I can't do again. And I get people have emotional attachments to actors that play characters on shows, but let's be honest, how many shows have we watched that characters have changed all the time?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know what I mean? And it's happened with many other shows other than just that. And it's like, okay, the first 2 or 3 episodes, yeah, take some time getting used to, but then show goes on, man. And one thing I can say is, I'm not about forcing people to give them opportunities. You understand where I'm coming from? If I present an opportunity and you choose to go in another direction, then bruh, I respect that.
Understood? Because the running theory was they didn't feel like the money was distributed properly. And I was looking, I'm like, I in my personal opinion, we've had money talks. So
Yeah.
The equipment, cost of production
Of course.
is the terminology.
Of course.
So I was just sitting there like, cool, I get it. This, that. Do you feel like, because there's a couple of other web series, they had opportunities to sell off their shows to whether Netflix or whatever streaming service, and they didn't do it because they wanted to be loyal or they thought they were following how you were maneuvering from the outside in. Do you regret any maneuvering on how you might have wanted to handle the whole series itself?
I don't regret anything, only because I believe that everything that's happened in the last 3 years has been a lesson for me. And for what I've learned from the last 3 years and what I've learned from everything that's gone on, I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Because your name was getting dragged through the mud.
I mean, listen, my name was getting dragged through the mud. You have to really ask yourself, like what does that mean? You know, I'm never the type to defend anything that isn't true. You know, as you can see, the entire time that people were saying what they were saying on social media, I've never responded, not once.
No,
and another reason I never really responded is because in the vein of what goes on in these days and times, people were saying what they were saying on social media, but at the same time, people were hiding from me for years. You get where I'm coming from? Because I'm not, look, man, I grew up a certain way and I'm cut from a certain cloth. And there is nothing in this world that you can ever do to make me respond to you on social media. I will sooner find you. You understand where I'm coming from? And even in this situation where this was people who I had friendships with at a point in time. So for me, it was never to be taken that far to go look for anybody, but it was just, yo, if we bump heads, I'll take care of it. You understand what I'm saying? And that never happened. So I just left it at that, and people can say what they want, but one thing I know is that time will always reveal the real. You know what I mean? It's pretty much that simple.
Lines.
Yeah, so is the whole is the majority of the cast coming back for season 3, or it's still...
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. As far as anybody that walked away from the show, it was one person. It was one person, which was Miz. You know, everybody was also talking about the shenanigans that Mr. was pulling on social media, but Mr. got killed in the finale of the second season. That's why he was upset, because he got killed off. You understand where I'm coming from? So,
I mean, I think sometimes too, people don't understand like Game of Thrones, right? Mm-hmm. To this day, Ned Stark. I don't know if you're familiar with.
I've watched a couple of episodes.
The one of the main characters was killed off season 1. Mm-hmm. For 7 seasons later, his name is that legendary. So sometimes if you do right by the character, even if you get killed off, you could still like be iconic for, you know.
Listen to me, man. I had a talk with my cast at the beginning of this entire thing, and what I told them was this. I said, look, I would like for all of us to become successful together. I would love for all of us to get rich together. But what I need you people to realize is that it's not going to happen for everybody at the same time. Some people are going to go first. Some people are going to go last. Some people may not go at all. But as long as the relationship is there, then the opportunity will always be there for it to happen. And
I agree.
And another thing is, I said, look, even if you die off on this show, I said, this isn't my last project. This is just my entrance into this game. Right. So you look at Tyler Perry, you look at Spike Lee, they use the same actors over and over. And do you know why? And being in this industry, rapport. I've learned it's a rapport. You understand?
Relationship.
You can have the best actor in the world, but the real question is, how is he going to act on set? How is he going to get along with everybody? Is he going to be punctual? You understand where I'm coming from? So when you find an actor that as a director you work well with, you want to continually work with him because you know what you're going to get out of him.
That's what they said about in regards, because you know Ali's going to be the new Blade. Mm-hmm. And part of the reason they said, because Wesley hasn't aged that much to where he
could be kind of difficult.
Nah, but he's still kind of. Yeah. But they said because of how he maneuvered in Blade 3, like he would only do lines in sequence.
He was difficult.
And so you saying that it really triggered in my mind. I'm like, cool. There's various points of that.
Yeah. But see, that's the disadvantage, and these are all lessons that I learned that I took when I was putting together this project. That's the disadvantage to dealing with people that have never acted a day in their lives, don't know the industry, don't understand the film industry as a whole. Look, man, the majority of the world, as soon as they see your face on television, think you're rich.
Oh, immediately.
Now,
immediately.
Now, this is what people. Now, this is what people didn't realize, right? When people speak about Money and Violence, they always say, "Yo, how did it feel to be on TV?" Not realizing that we've never been on TV. We were on the internet.
The internet is television now.
Totally.
Well, I don't want to undermine where you're going with your career. Because as a writer, you want to get to the...
No. And when I say that, I'm not taking anything away from the internet.
I know where you're coming
because
from.
the truth is that you can get a bigger... You have the potential to get a bigger viewership on the internet than a lot of times you do on television. But what I'm saying is, when you're dealing with this, when you're dealing with what you're going to make...
I mean, let's keep it honest. From the interview you did here, somebody that's close to you sat there and ambushed the whole interview.
Yeah.
To the point that all of us in the office, I don't know if he knows the story, even 50 was like, "What? Why is this video has 900 dislikes?" and
it was that one person making multiple different accounts to dislike the video. Man.
Oh, really? So who was that?
We don't. I mean,
My daughter's mother, bro.
Because I remember when my man Bettis called me, he said, "Bro, who are these niggas? This video has 900 dislikes. 50 had to watch this." And in your defense and in your tactics, you use that because now everybody's like, "What's this money and violence with 900 dislikes?" And then you got your audience to offset that.
Bro, listen to me.
Which is crazy when you think about it.
Listen. The most dangerous thing about a lie, right, is if it's told enough times. These days it becomes the truth.
Of course.
But see, the thing with me is you have to understand that I'm a person that's very comfortable in my own skin. I mean, Heineken, you know me. I'm a person that's very comfortable in my own skin. I'm not looking for acceptance from nobody. And there is nothing that anyone can say that's going to make me feel like what I know is the truth isn't the truth. Right. You understand? So you can sit there and post 1 million comments under videos. You can go on social media and slander my name. But I'm going to tell you this. My reputation on these streets of who I was way before this entertainment shit speaks for itself. So anybody that you come across, listen, man, the world is small and the streets is even smaller. And I'll tell you, if you don't know a dude that knows me on these streets, you know a dude who knows a dude. And they'll tell you, like, yo, nah. One thing I know about this dude is homie has always been 100. Or, yo, my man know homie or know some dudes who know homie and they told me homie's always been 100.
I met you through my good friend Stein.
Yeah.
And we go back years. And his brother is cool with him. You know what I'm saying? So the world is that small. You got one of your main actors right here. You know what I'm saying? I just seen a clip. And first thing I said to you, the writing is very tight. The performance, the hands-on, how y'all executed, man. Like, what made you want to come onto the project? Introduce yourself to the camera. Let them know.
Oh, my name is Christopher Pons. I played a character, Dane, on the spot. And what made me want to come to it? The writing. Straight up. Mogad.
Was there any hesitation?
Oh, tell them what you've done, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I did a couple of things. I did Joy Road.
Okay.
You know, Wood Harris is my bro. He promotes me all the time. He put me in the game.
That's a dope dude. We interviewed him a couple of times.
Yeah.
Very solid.
I did Belly 2, the one with Game.
Okay.
Back in the days. I did a couple of things, but I never got to speak and say these bars that I'm saying now. You know what I mean?
So what's it like getting this opportunity?
It's like for me, it's a dream come true because you can act in films and you gotta say, quote what they tell you to say. But when I read this, I was like, damn, am I gonna say this? So I called Mo back, like, Mo, there's a lot of jewels in this. And I was excited that he gave me the opportunity to get in it, so.
Oh, tell him what you said. You gave me a verse.
Oh, the verse, Rakim bars. That's like being on Paid in Full.
He said, yo, you gave me a verse on Paid in Full.
Yeah, that's like being on Paid in Full, you know what I mean? It's like, man, it's a lot of jewels in here. This is not money and violence.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about with the history of what, because like it's lore now, not folklore. It's lore. What he did.
That's a fact.
Did you feel like a little hesitation knowing that, hey, people might try to compare them or criticize? You know what I mean? That's a lot to live up to sometimes.
Right. Nah, this is two different shows, like two totally different shows.
What makes it two different shows from your perspective as a fan?
It's not, Money and Violence was just that, money and violence. A lot of slang, street things, killing. I think this is one a little more slick, intelligent, and we dealing with gentrification, and we still making money in the street, and it's slick, it's clever.
Okay.
It's clever. This is not, if you're looking for the shootout, the bang out, the curse out, and a whole bunch of fuck you mother, this is not it.
That's not it.
This is almost a hood soap opera that you have to pay attention to.
Wicked baby mothers.
Stuff like that. It's issues. It's issues.
It's issues. Real
It's
man
issues. Real issues.
This is a much more. It's a much more mature piece of work, man. It's a much more mature piece of work, and I think first of all, let's just talk cast, right? My lead is black. His girlfriend, his supporting, she's pretty much white. She's from Spain. His supporting character, his right hand man, is Asian. You understand what
gentrification for real?
Yeah,
oh yeah.
And then and then it's set. It's how about this? I'll tell you something ill. Like I pretty much did something that's never been done before, which is I wrote a drama series, right? Which is like Money and Violence, like something like The Wire, but the entire show is set in one location. I shot the entire show in my crib. The entire season is in my house. Every single scene is pretty much in my crib, other than 3 or 4 scenes, the entire season. You understand, which is something that's never been done before. And I did that for 1 or 2 reasons. For one, I wanted to challenge myself as a writer. I wanted to see if I could keep a story moving forward in one location. And also, secondly, I did it because, I did this out of my own pocket. And that pretty much shortens my budget.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm very aware.
That's a fact.
When I looked, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't want to say anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it looks amazing. You know, we shot this on 4K cameras, Blackmagics, and all of that. You understand? And plus, as a director, what I've learned in the last 3 years, like you definitely see the growth. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, keep in mind that this is something that was totally made by us, written, directed, edited, everything in-house. And I wanted to do this project because I wanted to show all of these filmmakers, up and coming young black filmmakers, that bro, you do not need, it's great to have the network or the studio, but it's not a necessity, bro. You know, so many people are out there looking for funding for these projects when it's like, get some of your peoples together, get some equipment and shoot it, man.
Shoot it.
Right, and the most important thing is right for your budget. I wrote this show in a way so that I can afford to produce it.
Speaking of which, all the other web series, that followed when Money and Violence came out, now most of them are like non-existent and things like that, because everybody felt like the way everything played out with season 3, it deflated everybody else. Have you heard that?
I mean, listen, man. We had a lot of shows that came after we did what we did, which I felt privileged. You know what I'm saying? To inspire people to that point where they pick up a camera and go out there and shoot their own narratives and tell their own stories. But what I felt was that a lot of these shows, man, they only got half, not even half. I think they got 25% of what it is that we were trying to put out there, because what they did was mimic Money and Violence on the surface. It was nothing but the violence, shoot 'em up, bang, bang. But nobody really put together like a real story, man, and took the time to really learn filmmaking and learn story writing. Now, and I say this, look, man, we have hundreds of web series that followed after we did, and it's great that you take Hollywood serious, but it's even greater when Hollywood takes you serious. Because out of all the web series that came out, I'm pretty much the only dude that ended up in these Hollywood writing rooms, you know what I'm saying, writing for these TV shows. And it's because, look, man, it's great to shoot these web series, but let's go out there and let's create, man, stories that are of substance. You understand? I want to push the culture forward. That's my whole thing.
Because one of the discussions you and I had off camera is like, what you set up for other stories.
Yeah.
And I always felt like, not everybody grew up with the bang, 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 bang. So why not talk about you doing this, this, and this? And it seemed like everybody just wanted to be like, we need the guns, we need the violence, all the naked chicks. And I'm like, you don't live that life. Talk about this. This is fun.
They're gonna change again.
And this is what people don't understand. The only reason I wrote Money and Violence is because that was my life at a point in time. You understand where I'm coming from? So therefore, it was like, what can I write better than what I know? You understand? And with this coming show, it's like I said, it's much more mature. The bar has been risen. You understand that people are going to be forced to have to try to meet that bar because it's like, yo, I haven't put out content in 3 years. And you can't tell me that in the last 3 years, the hottest thing that's gonna hit the internet is the next thing that I do. Like, nah, bro, dude's gotta step it up, man. Dude's gotta step it up. Let's go out there and really make them respect our work.
All right, season 3 of Money and Violence is gonna be on YouTube, the network.
No, it definitely won't be on YouTube.
Okay.
I'll tell you that, it definitely won't be on YouTube because like I said, we started first season on YouTube, second season we went the title, so I'm always looking to take it to the next level, you know, so I'm in talks. You know, listen, let me break this down for y'all. 2 years ago, I had got a deal with Starz, with the Starz Network. Okay, it's what's called a developmental deal for those that know how television works.
Yeah.
So we've been in development for the last 2 years, right? So as of December of last year, I was like, yo, man, I can't do another year like this because I really couldn't gauge at what point in the process I was, if I was 25% of the way, if I was 50% of the way. So I went to the executives and I'm like, yo, look, I need to know, I can't do this for another year. So as of next year, I need to know when are we going into production. And they came back and they told me, look, man, with the commitments that we have to other situations, we cannot give you a date. We don't know if this is going to take another year, if this is going to take another 5 years.
Wow.
So I had to go back to my attorney and I had to say, look, get me out of this deal. You understand? So right now I'm in talks with some other people to pretty much get this done. And I know it's taking time, but the truth is I'm only trying to give the viewing audience what they deserve. Because one thing I can say about y'all is it's like I can't win with y'all. Because you know why? Because y'all will complain that Money and Violence ain't come out for the last 2 or 3 years, right? But then if I rush it and I go and put together something half-assed and I give it to y'all, y'all are gonna crucify me for that. So because of that, I'd rather take the time to give y'all what y'all deserve, which is y'all have waited 2 or 3 years. I'm gonna make sure I come back with a banging ass season for y'all. You understand that y'all can really enjoy.
What if the opportunity was presented just to sell it off for a decent number and, you know, let them figure out what they want to do with the cast, season 3 recast, and it's off your hands?
Nah,
because you already have other projects.
I don't think I would. It's not. I don't think I wouldn't do. I wouldn't really do that. And the reason
There's no dollar amount.
The reason I say that is because I cannot allow the industry to weaponize what I created for my people. And what I mean by that is I created Money and Violence as a learning tool for the generations, for the people that watch it, for those in the streets. And that's why they love this show so much. So for me to gain their trust and make them love this show and then hand it over to these people that are gonna change it into more nigga shit, nah, bro. To mislead the people even more, like it's like, that'd be like I set up my own people, man.
Man, we got Mo here, man. Like, this is a guy I've known for a lot of years. We hung out, private conversations, man. You know me, I'm always rooting for everybody, man. And I just want to, you know, as you get older, you realize everything ain't ever going to be the same. I'd love to see everybody come back and knock out season 3, but I know that's not going to happen.
Nah, that's
just
never gonna happen.
Just because of life. You know, it's like...
But you also have to understand it exactly like you said, just like life, things change.
Yeah, that's it.
Things change, look, I wish everybody the best. But I have to do what's best, not just for me, but what's best for this project.
Let them know all the projects you got coming out.
All right, September 30th, Godfather of Harlem coming out on the Epix channel, starring Forrest Whitaker. That is the story of Bumpy Johnson.
Very familiar.
Also as well, look out, I don't have a date yet. Season 3 of American Gods on Starz. Subscribe to Cloud9 TV. Follow me on Instagram if you're not following me already. Cloud9 TV _. You can also follow the Spot web series on Instagram. Let's get it, man. Brooklyn all
Two
day.
things I want to ask.
That.
You could close this out with these 2 things. You're from Brooklyn.
All day.
What was it like being out in LA all that time?
Listen, man.
I know you can't say too much because it's relationships, but
No, not even, yo, bro. I'm just at a different point in my life. You
There's no
understand?
place like home.
Yeah, I'm just at a different point in my life. Listen, and I think that also that's another reason why this whole money and violence thing. Come on, anybody who has gotten to know me or who has met me in the last 3 or 4 years to tell you that I'm not the dude. I'm the dude that's always in the cut. I'm the dude that's always in the background, right? And that's because, homie, I've lived. You understand where I'm coming from? I'm not gonna say that people knew me on this bigger scale, right? But coming up in Brooklyn, where New York was my world, like, come on, man. Like, people knowing me is it's nothing different. It's nothing new to me. So even with me being in LA, if you want me to be honest with you, bro, I went to work and I went home.
That's it.
And that was about it. And at this point in my life, like, that's why I'm pushing so hard to get to the next level, because nothing excites me on this one anymore.
Marvel, DC, all those, action comic books are big. Any movie property you would want to write for, or any storyline you'd like to be able to get your hands on and really give a different perspective on it,
I mean,
or add on to it?
Bro, I had a call for a very, very serious movie project probably just last week, and it's something very, very impactful that I can't really speak on.
Oh, you're gonna be writing Blade too?
No.
I
don't know about that. I don't know about that, but
with Vampire in Brooklyn for real.
But just, yo, man, just expect and look forward to me, doing some different things, man. Not just the urban genre, but even, relationships, science fiction, thrillers, psychological thrillers.
If I didn't know any better, I would have thought you was one of the writers for Black Lightning.
Nah,
That's
not at all, man. But yo, man, we about progression, man, and the key is just to keep moving forward. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So no matter what's behind me, no matter what's said, look, man, the truth is either you kill me or I make it, because there is no stopping.
Oh man, we out. This is 50.com.
Yo, follow
Tuesday.
Christopher Pons on Instagram.